What's up, Cade? How are you doing?
I am so blessed, Drew. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm blessed as well. I'm excited. I'm excited. Life is exciting at this point. So,
It very much is. Very much is. Yes, sir.
so yeah, man. I'm really, really, really stoked about next week. Or not next week. 2 weeks from now. It's gonna
Yeah.
be really awesome. Is it 2 weeks from now? What? No,
Yes,
it's
sir.
not this Friday, but next
The
Friday.
next. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's gonna be legit. I'm really pumped up. Our speaker's pretty incredible, and I'm just really looking forward to listening to what he has to say. So
Likewise. Yeah, it's amazing. And I know we'll talk about this in a bit, but just how much this guy has
yes,
done and accomplished.
absolutely.
It
You
kind of
look at
boggles
his
my
resume.
mind.
I'm like, his resume is like 15 pages long on LinkedIn of all the things he's done. It's insane. It's crazy.
LinkedIn,
Oh,
LinkedIn had to customize their app to allow enough space for this man's resume.
seriously, seriously. Well, I imagine this man lives his life like David Goggins. And you're familiar with David Goggins?
Yeah.
Yeah, so David Goggins, for those of you who don't, is a really incredible speaker. I listen to him all the time. He's one of my go-to guys, but he lives his life by the ideals that, you know, he has to do things. He wants to try everything. He'll never be opposed to saying no. Once he tries it, if he doesn't like it, then he won't do it. But he says yes to everything. And ideally, he was like, I want to be able to run as many marathons in as many places that I can so that I can say, that I ran all of these different marathons and I was able to do this or able to do that. And, he took full advantage and made it happen in his goals, but he never ever said no to anything. And look at him now. I mean, he's a motivational speaker and really tests the trials of humanity and push the limits to
Yeah.
what man could do. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I still need to read his book, Can't Hurt Me, I think is what
Hmm.
it's called. I have
I
it,
think
but I
you're right.
yet I started reading a little bit of it and I've heard some amazing things about just some of his stories are just mind-boggling.
Dude, well, I'll run into one really quickly because I think it's insane. So he was going to be a Navy SEAL because he wanted to be a Navy SEAL. He saw a commercial on TV. He wanted to change his life. He was a 350-pound pest guy, I think is what he says, a 300-pound pest guy eating a box of donuts every day. And he said he wanted to change his life, and he saw a commercial. And so to show his like test of time during his actual training, there's a lot of running involved, and so he like broke both of his legs and like did a bunch of damage to his legs. And so by the end, he was running on his hip rotators, and that's how he was running. So it was going like this because he couldn't actually like move his legs in the right way. And I'm just like, the sheer like grit that would have to take. Like I would be in so much pain, but this he was so determined. So every time I think about
Wow,
something tough that I don't want to do, I think, well, David Goggins ran on his hip rotators because he couldn't run on his legs. That pushes me.
that is crazy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about NAR today and the settlement, but there's been so much news about it. And Drew, honestly, I think I'm gonna go out on a whim and say that most people have heard about it and probably have an opinion. But your comment there just made me think of something. Um, so I think I wanna talk about this instead of NAR, if that's
Go
okay.
for it. Yeah, absolutely.
So the idea is that when you are in business or a job or doing anything in life really, and you're questioning whether or not you're successful or you're getting joy out of something, or you're questioning how you're spending your time, the way you know you're doing something right is if it becomes mundane. And every day you come and you do the task at hand and you kind of start questioning, you're like, is this the right thing like I'm doing? Is this the right way I'm spending my time? And a lot of people, most people will say, no, this isn't the right thing. And so what they end up doing is they say, I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go try, baking or whatever. You know what I mean? So let's take, my business as an example. I'm a real estate agent. Like, let's say for the first year, I was trying real estate. I barely, if at all, made any money my first year. And so, I could have tried that and then been like, you know what? I've been doing the same thing, not really getting the result I was hoping for. I'm going to make a total 180, right? There's a difference from shifting what you're doing, but staying the same course versus like completely 180. What most people do is a 180, right? And they say, you know what? Real estate's not for me. I couldn't make money. So what I'm going to do is go find something else. And they do. And then it's, 20 years down the road and they're doing, something completely different. They've done 20 different things in 20 years. And then at the end of 20 years, they look back at their life and they're like, you know what? I didn't really make any traction anywhere. And you have to ask yourself, well, why is that? And really, it's because it's not because you didn't work hard. It's not because you weren't smart. It's because you did 20 freaking different things in 20 different years. And so the message, and then Drew, I'll let you kind of go to your topic, is when things start feeling mundane and they start feeling like, man, it kind of lost its excitement because it's not new anymore. That doesn't automatically mean that you switch 180 and go do something new. It could just mean you're at the very beginning stage of this potentially incredible career. And so you have to stay in that. You have to keep doing the task at hand because it is mandatory in order to handle the responsibility it takes to be in the successful position. Because once you're in the successful position, you understand what it took to get there. Therefore, the responsibility becomes serious to you and you understand the responsibility, right? So it's no different than people who win the Powerball and then they become broke. Well, because they didn't take the work it actually took to become rich. And when you take the work to become rich, you value being rich and you understand what it takes. So you manage and handle it accordingly. When you are just given power, money, position, you abuse it. Why? Because you didn't earn it. So, and I think all that to say, the speaker we have this month, I think is someone who earned a lot of what he did in his career. And so it'll just be interesting to see his take. But again, I think it's back to that David Goggins mentality.
Mhm.
And so I'm hyped to see what he has to say. It'll be
Yeah,
exciting.
me too. And honestly, I mean, that was a very poetic way to say it because I agree with you 1,000%. I mean, I have friends that are making lots and lots of money, and then I have other friends that don't make lots and lots of money. And the friends that don't make lots and lots of money are questioning the guys that are making good money. And it's like, well, how did you do that? Like how are you making so much? I would love to be in your position. And it's like they didn't put the work in, they didn't put the grind in, they weren't given the opportunity. And you're exactly right. I mean, I have conversations with people all the time where they're like, well, I was a home inspector and then I became a landscaper and then I became, a handyman and now I'm in real estate and then I was a banker and like, all of those things. Like they have these wild career paths, and you're exactly right. But I know that there's a phrase out there, and I'll probably butcher it, but I think they say it takes 10,000 hours to be a master at something. And I actually did the math on my calculator after you brought that up, and 10,000 hours working 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, so not taking a week off, it's going to take about 5 years to hit that.
Woo!
So, yes, until you're claimed a master. And so, are you willing to put in the 5 years to do it?
Yeah.
And most
And
people
don't
would say
start.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it is tough, right? It's like you ain't making money, you ain't in the position you necessarily saw yourself being in when you first started. And so it is hard. You have to really enjoy the process and what it is you're doing, or not necessarily even. You just have to want and desire the outcome more than anything. And you're willing to
absolutely.
do what it takes to get there. So
Absolutely.
But Drew, I know that you had kind of the topic of the day. Sorry, I went off on a tangent. I just figured that'd be more exciting than NAR settlement commissions.
No, I
Cares.
think that was perfect, and that's kind of a good segue into what I was going to talk about, and it's kind of just the idea of opportunity. I know a couple weeks ago we talked about opportunity cost, right? What is the lost income or the lost experiences or the lost memories that you would have had you taken another path, but instead you took a different path, right? That fork in the road. What are you missing out on by choosing one way or the other? And I think, opportunity cost can be looked at from a negative perspective of what you've missed out on, but there's also the potential of a positive perspective of grabbing the opportunity by the horns and giving it your all, right? I think I've seen several opportunities and times where, people that I have known have made shifts in their life, whether it be positive or negative, based upon what they think they want or what they think they don't want, right? And when you make those shifts, I mean, even my career jumps that I've made, right? I've made shifts based upon certain benefits that are at this place versus not, and I'm sure that will continue to happen. And I think that, not allowing yourself to be kept up in this box and saying this is where I need to be, right? And kind of like what you said earlier, focus on the same thing, but you make enhancements, right? So, let's just say that you're working at Coldwell Banker and your heart's in property management. Well, you can hang your license and probably start a Coldwell Bank. You can probably start a property management company and hang your license at Coldwell, but is that a specialty of Coldwell's? I don't think so. Whereas you could go to somewhere like Suburban and do property management and still do sales, but that is your bread and butter. You're in where you're at. So all of it has to do with real estate, but niching it to what you're good at and what you like, and then taking new opportunities when they come. And the reason why I'm bringing all of this up is to say, when you look at the guy's resume as our speaker, General Balzarak, he has an insane resume. I mean, he is a brigadier general in the National Guard. He has had several positions as like assistants to cabinet members or assistants to like, so if there's like the Secretary of Defense and the Secretary of Defense has a few key people under him or her, he's been an assistant to one of those key people. So, that's what you get when you're a brigadier general. You have those responsibilities, but to do that in Virginia, while you also have the responsibilities and ties of a surgical practice here in Tucson that you are running your own, or being the headhunter for talent acquisition for the biggest nonprofit hospital in Southern Arizona, it's pretty incredible to be able to multitask, take those opportunities, learn how to actually navigate all of those things and still have an effective life outside of it. I mean, I'm really excited to hear this guy's A, time management, B, his love and affinity for taking opportunities, and then C, just his ability to make it all work as one. So I'm really excited because I think he's done a great job and mastered that. And from the limited conversations that I've had with him, as well as conversations I've had with others who know him, he's very intelligent, he's very well spoken, and he really is someone that we can learn a lot from, even if you're not looking for, out of the military or the medical field. You can take some business aspects in the form of time management and those types of things and apply it to your own business.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
very
absolutely.
excited.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think the biggest thing to probably take from him, aside from attacking goals and careers and things, is how the heck do you manage all that?
Yeah. Yeah. It's nuts. I look at that and I'm like, that seems like several full-time jobs. Several. I mean, I know running a company, like you kind of run your own small business. I kind of run my own small business in a sense of like I have to keep track of my, P&L, and I have to keep track of, the inflows and outflows of capital as well as, but that's on a super small level, right? That's
Yeah.
just like my book of business with one employee. I mean, this guy ran a surgical practice where he had surgeons underneath him while he's also doing surgeries himself, while he's also managing his, but it just, it blows my mind. I don't understand. There's some people I just don't get it.
I'm gonna look up how long does it take to become a general in the military?
It takes a long time. So I was speaking to my father, who is a West Point graduate, and this is going to probably shock you, Cade. This is insane. So West Point. Are you familiar with West Point?
That's like a military school on the East Coast or something.
Yeah, it's in New York, and it's for the Army. So kind of how it works: you go to school for 4 years, then you owe back. I think it's 5 years to the military as payback, but your school is free. So you go
Understood.
there and you get duly trained as a military guy, as well as you get your degree, you serve, and then you go away. So my dad went to a school that was designed to spit out top Army officers. Like these guys bleed black and gold. They bleed, red, white, and blue for our country. Like they are, and I say black and gold because that's Army, that's the school colors. But they are the Army people, right? Like they are the future top dogs in the Army. My dad said he had 1,000 members in his class about 25 years ago, 30 years ago. Yeah, 1,000 members in his class. And of those 1,000 people that graduated, only 9 of them he knows of are generals. That's it. So you're talking about the filter of like the top Army school, and only 9 of them have become generals. It just goes to show like the impressiveness of that.
Yeah, no kidding. Holy crap. Yeah, the Southern University and A&M College website says from division commanders to post commanders to high-level staff positions, general officers are responsible for maintaining an efficient, effective army. A promotion to general takes about 25 years.
25 years.
Crazy.
And you have to play. I know that there's a lot of like it's not just you get promoted from like you work in a job and you get promoted. Like I'm fairly certain that being a general is like you have to be nominated by someone in the government, whether it's like a senator or the president or someone in Congress. Have to, I think could be wrong, has to nominate you to be a general. So you have to be like out there meeting people, networking in a way, really, really understanding how to be an intelligent communicator as well as being good at your job. And, my dad said this, and I think it plays it really well. It's like, you cannot fake being a general. Like you are the real deal the second that you hit brigadier general. So 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, but 1 star is the lowest tier. You are the second you hit 1 star general, you are like the real deal, and you are probably running several thousand. You have access to run several thousand soldiers at your command. So it's pretty insane. Pretty insane.
Wild.
Yeah.
Crap.
So
Yeah, so
I'm
it's gonna be a sick event.
I'm very excited, and I really think like it's again, this is like not a business driven guy in a sense of you're not going to come in and probably take away how to structure a business, and there's probably not going to be a lot of teaching regarding a lot of real estate, right? But this is someone who you can learn from. Again, time management. He ran his own surgery practice, so he probably has somewhat of a business understanding in terms of how to run that. He's an entrepreneur in a way, and now he's working for a huge hospital. Like he has the corporate background, the military background, and the entrepreneur background. He's kind of like the perfect storm of who to learn from. And I'm thinking that everyone will be able to take something away from him. So I'm super stoked.
And again, Drew, what day is that and time?
Yeah, so it's April 26th from 5:30 to 8:30 at the Sands Club. So next Friday, not this coming Friday, but next. So, and if you have any questions, again, you don't have to be in the medical field. You could everyone will be able to find something interesting to take. So,
Yeah, super stoked and excited. And again, last month we had 57 people, Drew, was the
yeah,
final count. So, and a lot of those people came from just word of mouth. So don't forget, you guys, like if you have clients of yours, or maybe you have, some people that you work with, bring them out. Come network with local professionals who are really the next generation of who's going to be some of the top dogs in town. Really, like, everyone who attends is a mover and shaker. I have yet to meet someone who's just like doesn't really do what they say, you know.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
again, if you guys want to be around that type of, community, you are who you hang around. So you want to make sure you're hanging around, quality people. You're invited. It's free. No reason not to come.
Absolutely, absolutely. And seriously, you put our phone numbers in the comments section, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So if you're seeing this and you've never spoken to Cade or or you just want to learn more about it, feel free to give us a call. We're more than happy to walk you through any questions that you may have, tell you where to park if you guys need it, give you a little bit of insight about the event. Heck, if you're interested, I'll even go get a cup of coffee with you beforehand, so you feel comfortable enough to have someone there to kind of lean on if you need it. So we'd love to have you out. I'd love to have you come out and meet us and meet the speaker and just spend a good time networking with our networks combined, because ideally that's what it is.
Yeah. And yeah, we do have both our emails and phone numbers in the description below. So, feel free to just get a hold of us that way. Put me and Drew in a group chat. We'd be happy to connect.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Kate, do you have a positive quote for the day? I
Positive
forgot to pull one up.
quote. I don't off the top of my head. Let me see. Let's see what we can come up with here. It's funny how cheesy some of them are when you just look them up.
Yeah, yeah, they are.
Let's see. Well, we can always do the infamous Rocky one. It's not a matter of what is it, how hard you get punched, but how hard you can get punched and get back up.
I think that's something about it. I love that. I love that. And it's true. It's true. I mean, we were just talking about earlier in this video. I forgot it was in this video. The idea of being a solopreneur or starting your own something, whether that's real estate, and struggling in your first year to get it taken off, right?
Yeah,
Again, every single week I get punched in the face. I know it. I've just become so calloused at this point that when I get punched, it doesn't even hurt anymore. I
yeah.
just keep moving because I'm at the point now in my business where I can say, okay, that's fine. Thank you. Next, as a way to say it. There's this. I have it written everywhere in my office. I learned it from my mentor and my boss, Guy Welsh. It says SW3N, and that stands for some will, some won't. So what next?
Hmm.
And I just think that that's super important to remember when you're in this business. There's no convincing everybody, and so yeah, when you get punched, just get back up.
Dude, I love it. Yeah, there was if you guys know Alex Hormozy, um, he had posted. Oh, this is so awesome. So you guys all know Alex Hormozy. If you don't, look him up. He's freaking amazing. Ultra successful dude, entrepreneur. But he put this post out the other day. Once you become an entrepreneur, you have only two outcomes. One, you eventually succeed, or two, you give up before you do. That's it.
Mm.
And so it was just really powerful because I'm like, man, his stuff always hits first and foremost, but it's so true, right? Like, again, back to the original conversation, it could take, like you said, Drew, 5 years to master something. And if you give up in the first five, you won't ever, get the outcome. But the only other outcome, if you do not give up, is you will succeed. It's just a matter of time. You will succeed. It's just a matter of time. You reap what you sow. And so if you just so into it, 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 you will get the outcome that you're looking for. It just takes time. And so I think if you can just constantly remind yourself of that, like it has to pass. It has to pass because it's a law, like gravity. It will come to pass as long as I just keep on sewing into it. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, I just think it's really powerful. There's only two outcomes. You'll either get there or you give up before you get there. So both outcomes suggest that you will get there. It's just a matter of whether or not you choose to give up before then. So super powerful stuff.
I love that. I love that. And that actually sparked one last thing that I want to hit on as well. And because I think we've both had experiences with it and it's very incredible to see. So I'll share my experience. I think that, your brain is a super powerful thing. It's very powerful. And your thoughts and what you manifest for yourself is is very powerful. I told myself that I was going to buy my first place before I turned 22. So by the end of my 21st birthday, I was going to have my first property. And push came to shove, a property happened to work out that made sense with my budget, and I closed 4 days before my 22nd birthday. 4 days. And I just think that when you tell yourself what you're going to do, whether, you're a believer and you believe that that was, you know, a message sent to you, or you manifested it for yourself, whatever it is, you have the what you think about and what you consume your mind of really will come true. It's very incredible. So,
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, that was the same thing for me. I told myself I will own rentals, and the year after, within the year that I told myself that, because that lady who laughed at me,
mhm.
I told myself, no, I will. And then I did. Literally the same trip the next year was the day I closed on mine. So it's like if you just set your mind on it, it will come to pass. It's just a matter of time. So I think it's encouraging to know that, because then you have confidence in everything you do. But just know that you have that control when you focus on it.
I love it. I love it. I think that's a great way to end this. What do you think?
I think so. I think I'm fired up for the week.
So am I. So am I. Great way to start our Mondays.
Heck yeah.
Awesome. Well, dude, well then I will see you on April 26th, 5:30 to 8:30. Probably see you next week when we film another one. But 5:30 to 8:30 in the afternoon, evening time. Come check us out. It's free again, Arizona Sands Club. Keep an eye out for our Instagram posts. We'll be posting and throwing out some flyers.
Yep.
And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out with our phone number and email in the description.
Awesome, brother. Thanks again, Drew.
All right, we'll see you soon.
Later.